TEIMANA Harrison. Well, there's a man making his second appearance for England. Jack Clifford was favourite in some eyes, but his ability to snarl and tackle and growl is so important. And finally, George Ford bounced back from a horrible season and has played with such elan in the first two games.
And alongside England's fly half, the referee Nigel Owens was on the touchline last week. He swaps with Craig Joubert, who assists today with Mike Fraser. England safe in the knowledge that they will lift the trophy at the end tonight. But how much a sweeter experience that will be on the back of another victory. Away we go, and the short kick-off falls to Dan Cole in the end. Anthony Watson. Cole gets another touch. His Leicester teammate Ben Youngs to George Ford, formerly of that club. With George Cruz. Ford again. Joseph. Tackling from Foley and Horn. And good counter rucking by the Wallabies.
On the floor too long and cleaning off afterwards.
Earns the first penalty.
Superb play there by Australia. England was light on men. Australia got 3-4 men in there. They stayed on their feet. They drove over the Englishman and created the penalty. Already you've seen Ford passing with a frequency that we didn't see in Melbourne. But that was very impressive Australian defence there.
First line out, Stephen Moore to throw in. Last week his first try in 41 tests. Vardy had a great week at the line out in the second test, even though he ended on the losing side. There's Tamua. Big Rob Simmons smarting from that rather public dropping. Thought he'd gone off injured in the first test. Well, he did, but he didn't impress his coach. He's back now. Folau. Big Will Skelton, 22 stones. And he offloads to Phipps, but England aggressive in their defence here. Got Australia back to halfway. Foley. Nothing too untoward there from Rob Shaw. And here's his club teammate, Mike Brown, the Harlequin. Ben Youngs to Ford, seems that it might be on to Jack Noel. Noel. Only half stopped by Horn. Youngs. Farrell, that's well played. Billy Vunipola. Ford. Eddie Jones wanted his side out of the blocks. And they are. Youngs, who scored last time England were in Sydney 6 years ago. England won the second and final test of that series. Joseph. Cruz, nicely round. Farrell upended by Foley. Had that gone on, England had a chance there. Foley's a little tiger at the moment, isn't he?
Point to prove after last week. Tremendous defence there.
More into Cruz. Phipps, who's been taking a bit of stick in the media here. It was rather frantic play in this series, as it's been described. Noel again. He's got plenty of boot on that.
What a kick.
Superb control from Noel, taken quickly by Australia. And this fast start continues. Mike Brown wants to get there for a quick one for England, but that's a good chase on the kick from Folau.
Oh, Eddie Jones said to Graham Simmons, didn't he? Third test teams seem to know each other a little bit more. It can be a little bit quicker. I think a lot of people were cynical there, thinking England will want to keep it slow, but they're playing at pace at the moment. They're mixing Ford and Farrell at first receiver, Ben Youngs is running those little diagonal darts and bringing on the likes of Rob Shaw. A lot going on.
Here we go again, Ford. Carry from Vunipola, Harrison trying to get in there. England's new 7 replacing Haskell. It has gone forward. James Haskell has played so well in the first 2 tests, even though he hasn't played today, he might still end up as man of the series. He's been that good. Billy Vunipola normally alongside him. Born in Sydney, the England number 8.
Mixed start for Billy Vunipola. Missed a tackle on Rob Simmons early on. Carried over the gain line with absolute ease, but then lost control of the ball. One heck of an England bench. Jamie George, the man who came on with a wonder chip, but you can imagine the likes of Courtney Laws coming on, with Toje going into a back row with Clifford and Vunipola. And England could have an incredibly mobile back 5, but that is for probably 60 minutes' time.
Give me the shoulder, please.
Well, referee Nigel Owens knows how important this is.
Crouch.
Turf a lot more stable than last week at Amy Park. Nothing stable about that scrum though. Way too early from Australia. Free kick. England opt for the scrum.
Must control it, okay?
Little degree of gamble there, I think, from Stephen Moore. They did struggle in Melbourne, and they think, OK, let's just go a fraction early. And Nigel Owens, you heard him say straight away, you must control it. Fantastic attacking position for England. It's that old formation we see so often, the 10, 15 and a wing behind. Normally, it ends up with a free kick from the scrum. One day, it's going to produce something mind-blowing.
As England penalised and lose their binding.
Get the pressure off the arm. Pressure off the arm.
It's Dan Cole on the right-hand side of your screen, top of your screen. Pressure off the arm called. Of course, 2 weeks ago after England won in Brisbane, Bob Dwyer in the media assaulted the technique of Dan Cole. And in that instance, Nigel Owens goes with the former Wallaby guru, but what a poor kick.
Foley again, he did one of those last week.
Right at the start, yeah.
Dane Haylett-Petty. This his 3rd cap. Introduced to the Wallabies in this series. Hartley's pass to Vunipola. Ben Youngs to Mako Vunipola. 23 tackles last week, only 2 fewer than Haskell. England's turn to get the referee's arm pointing their way.
Leave. Put yourself the wrong side, you've got to get away quicker, please, Paul. Go back here.
World Cup final referee really does try and create a fast game. Anybody seen to be flirted on the wrong side of a breakdown, Owens will penalise them. You can see Will Skelton there, and if there's one man who can't hide from a referee, it's the 140-kilogram Skelton. Michael Checker doesn't agree.
Said this week, I'm a big boy, I like to carry the ball. You don't say. And you don't argue.
And you don't hide.
Billy Vunipola's pretty big. Now it's the backs, and Joseph. Making inroads there. Toje the decoy. Ford! Oh, he's looking for someone to go with him. Youngs. Noel in a bit of space. Didn't quite fall for Hartley, but England are creating gaps here. Pressure on Phipps.
Move one.
That's McMahon acting as the half-back. And Foley couldn't afford another mistake there as Watson came through.
Well, Ford is running into half gaps and he's luring Australians, and it's creating a bit of space. Lovely line there from Jack Noel, who just fades on the outside. You see the green and gold hand just knocks that one back. It's a good period for England here. Very positive. They're playing front foot rugby.
Harrison thrown in the air. Youngs, Ford, Joseph. Good pick up by Hartley again.
Play on the shoulder and below, play on.
Now he needs to be driven on. Robshaw realised that. Hold that up and Australia will get the turnover. England got it grounded. Here's Brown. Joseph tries to go on the outside this time, off Tamua. That's backwards from Harrison. Robshaw steps on it for England. Plenty of intent and ideas. And power too. Cruz. Pick and drive through the middle.
Ball is available, play.
Youngs. So much energy here from the men in white. As you expected at the start of the game, but they are really going for it. Makavunapola. He said they wanted to impose themselves on the Wallabies, and they're doing it all right. Here's Youngs working so close to the line. Dan Cole can see that line and cross it. England said they will have the edge, they will have the sharpness and desire. Looks like they were right.
Ben Youngs ran that like an American quarterback, just short pop passes and the big men coming off him time after time. Robshaw was there. Mako Vunapola's line is superb, but Ben Youngs in training has been looking for the big man popping off, and then first of all it's the loose head, then comes the tight head. Dan Cole waits, delays, and he goes over for another glorious try in his career. But that was a beautifully worked try. England just either side of the breakdown, popping hard, and Australia couldn't stop that short play.
And Owen Farrell makes it the full 7 over in Paris and now over in Sydney. Dan Cole, and it was just wave after wave, and there was nothing that Australia could do that time.
So in American football you'd call that running backs, but that was running forwards, and forwards coming at quite some pace and with real ball control. A very impressive score from England.
And that's exactly what the coach wanted, Eddie Jones.
That's as close in this series as we've got to what Jones was talking about when he meant body line, coming hard and fast and constant.
Toje on the restart, and starting the game in a way that makes Australia think, and think very hard, and realise what it's like to be 2-0 down. That's what England wanted to do, playing a mental game as well as physical here. Phipps, Skelton, brought in for that ballast, that power. Ayla Petty, Itoje, Folau, somehow he's kept going. Tamua, the space, there's men over, it's Foley, and Australia are back straight away. Now, will Nigel Owens just want to check what happened on that far side? Did it go forward?
I was on site there. Did you call check or knock on?
Yeah, check. There's definitely an action by the white player to knock it out.
Okay.
So we just need to have a look at that.
Time out. Ben, give me a check, please, if it was... we weren't sure how the ball went forward, so we need a check, please, okay?
Checking footage for a potential knock-on.
Yeah, there were no phases, so back around the halfway line, I think it was.
Will do.
I've got a check, okay? Yeah.
Very slick from Australia.
Stop chasing. So, because they saw you around.
Well, tell them they need to stop when the whistle goes, not my arm.
Ayla Petty's around Cole. Now, does it come forward off Itoje? Does it go forward? Does it go back and bounce forward? That's not the angle. Jack Noel, I'm afraid, misses the tackle that has to be made on the deadly Israel Folau. Now, does that go forward from Itoje? Looks like it goes forward, but does Ayla Petty lose the ball, or does the Saracen knock it forward?
Seems to be Itoje onto the thigh of Ayla Petty.
Ben, does it look like forward of goal to you?
Has he lost control and then it's gone forward? If he's losing control and it hits the thigh, that's forward.
Definitely.
In fact, can you just go back to that last angle, please, one more time? Sorry, Nigel, you said something?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a goal knock on, because the ball looks like it travelled forward to me.
Yeah, we're
unless
just
England
taking a
have
close-up
touched it.
look just to see if there's a white hand in there, Nigel.
Okay, so there's no white hand, it's going to be a knock-on, yeah?
Yes, we're just getting a close-up look.
Okay, thank you.
Boys at Ben Skeen, the television match official. Foley's about to take the conversion.
Yeah, he's checking with that, no comment.
Well, it's off a Toja.
Thank you, I have the decision.
Okay, so it's knocked out by white.
Nigel,
Yes.
there is a white hand
Yeah.
that knocks the ball
Yes.
out of the position of goal.
Okay, so the try is good.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
And Foley can get on with his conversion.
Double checked, everything is quite clear on the footage. It's knocked out by a white hand, so there's no knock-on, so the try is good, okay?
And all England's power running undone in 5 seconds of Australian counter-attack. Jack Noel misses a killer tackle on Israel Folau.
Aussie Rugby Union needed that badly. Foley needed it badly. And we're level.
It's knocked backwards from Maro Itoje onto Haylett Petty, and then it comes off his thigh there. Backwards onto the thigh. Jack Noel, no business missing tackles like that. Matt Tamua, who's made a very impressive start on hand, and he's not going to be selfish. Just hands it over to Bernard Foley, and the Wallabies straight back in it.
Here's Mike Brown. Very encouraging start to a test match.
Oh, yeah. Very good for England as well that George Ford and Watson have won the first 2 kickoffs.
Cruz dumped by McMahon. McMahon's in there again. Itoje comes back for England.
Knocked on with white as he went to ground. Scrum, goal ball.
Maro Itoje bailed England out there. Once again, Australia are putting extra numbers in at the breakdown, and England are getting driven backwards. It was a brilliant piece of play from Itoje. Even though England don't get the ball, it could have been quick turnover ball. Cruz isolated, smashed backwards there by the tackle of McMahon, and Cole is outnumbered by gold jerseys. Cole there, 1, 2, 3 Australians. England struggling. They have to be quicker to the tackle situation.
Last week was McMahon's first start in pro rugby at number 8. He's had a strong Super Rugby season. There's some talent. He's learning that position, but he can tackle.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Australia's turn to look for the alignment behind the number 8 from 2 of their backs.
Use the ball. Use. Get the slip. Play.
And here is Israel Folau. Cruz wants a piece back. Tamua, that's what he brings to the side. Allows Foley to do that as they swap positions. Takes the pressure off the 10. Kepu. Going wide again. Australia felt they attacked with a lack of width, too narrow in Melbourne, and paid the price. McMahon seeing off a couple. Great reply this from Stephen Moore on his side, and there is the captain. England have to be aware of the penalty, and they hold their discipline. Foley, Kurandrani looks for one of those big handoffs. Joseph goes low. Phipps. Fardy.
Lost, White, lost.
Phipps to the blind side. It's not a lot of space, but Hooper might find it. Great chance again. Joseph gets back and is driven over. England As soon as they score, they've been on the rack.
Scrum.
It's gone back for the knock-on.
Knocked on here, yeah?
Defence so magnificent in Melbourne at the moment. There's too many tackles being missed. Noel struggling to keep up with Hooper there. He's having a torrid time up the flank, but I think Billy Vunipola earlier on, he missed McMahon. They're enabling Australia to get over the gain line, and they're getting quick ball with it. And the combination of Foley and Tamua is stretching England more and asking more questions. Right now, England's defence looks a different animal to the one we saw in Melbourne.
Of course, Eddie Jones in Brisbane went quickly to the bench when there were defensive issues. Luther Burrell being removed.
I don't think he's got quite so many options, and I don't think it's the system at the moment, though, which it was in the first test. At the moment, it's man-for-man tackles.
Strum in trouble. Billy Vunipola needs help. England need to calmly clear this. Just take a bit of a heat out of this Aussie reply to the Dan Cole score, which has been excellent.
Stay good.
Youngs are hurried into that now because of the hands.
Just panicked a little bit as well, because even though he fumbles it, there's no Australian anywhere near him.
Anybody at fault?
Just hacks that, get it off the pitch, take no risk, frustrated with himself. Going forward, he's run the show very well, but just a little bit nervous there. Ball caught a part of an English body as he brought it out.
In went Cruz, but Hooper's got it. Harrison flew in, but Hooper had too much that time. What about Fardy? Here's Simmons. Phipps. Hooper, good line. Kepu. Oh, it's going to take some stopping. The tight head prop. That close again, Australia. Phipps. McMahon. Phipps checks again, finds Foley. Haylett-Petty, who's done everything but score in this series. Fardy went low. Phipps organising, McMahon, Foley, Falau. Well, Haylett-Petty is going to score. All those metres that he's made, that time he just needed to go 2 or 3. There's the width that Australia wanted.
Quick ball, they worked the blind side superbly, they made it look very easy. Israel Folau galloping along there, draws the Englishmen, nothing they can do. Pulling it back well. And you can see Watson in no man's land there. No chance for Brown. Folau up pace. Watson stuck there. Brown comes across, but Haylett-Petty is over. Australia have made a fantastic reply to England. Lovely pass from Sean McMahon at number 8, who's having an excellent 10 minutes or so, as are all of the Wallabies team. They are really repaying Michael Checker's faith in them, playing some lovely rugby.
And the other side of the coin, England not right in defence. So often the two go hand in hand.
I think it's fair to say as well, Australia are asking different questions as well. There is more width there. There's quicker ball as well. But it goes back. I don't think it's England's system. They're just at the moment, they've been falling off tackles and they're getting beaten at the breakdown. At the contact, Australia tend to be going forward, and that's giving them an edge. It means Phipps is getting in a way. He's not niggled. It's quick and it's clean.
Here's a tester for Foley. His kicking not been at its best in this series. 57% in the first 2 tests, and that one does miss from out wide. But it's still an Australian lead, 12-7.
Well, the last fortnight, it's all been about the man on the right, Eddie Jones. He has dominated rugby union in Australia. But Michael Checker's team are bouncing back.
Try scorer Haylett Petty is first in international rugby.
It's very important, Miles, for England to do as they did in Brisbane, get their hands on the ball and just control the tempo of this game for a while.
McMahon is on fire. Phipps, Foley looks happier with Timur alongside. We've already seen that. Kurandrani. He looks happier with Timur alongside as well. Two Brumbies in the centre. There's Simmons. Phipps. Here comes Mike Brown. Good chase from Australia. They really want it. But here's Ford, lovely stepping. Good line from Robshaw. Robshaw carrying the ball in two hands. Youngs to Billy Vunipola.
Great play.
Youngs again, it was slowed down. Falls to Robshaw after the knock-on. Captain Hartley. Youngs.
Move, hands away.
Been turned there, Vunipola.
Legal turnover, no advantage from the knock-on. On in the tackle.
So there's going to be a scrum. England will put in. Will go down to the touchline where England's missing man, James Haskell, star of the series, is talking with Graham.
Miles, thank you very much. Ball in hand, James, looking very tasty. Ball not in hand, how worried are you?
I'm not worried because you know, we've been in situations like this before. I think, you know, we're probably a little bit passive in defence at the moment. It's good that we've had some ball to play with. You know, last week we didn't have any. I looked at the stats in the first sort of 10 minutes. I think we had 70% possession, 70% territory. We were going well. Couple of unlucky lapses in defence, and you know they're ahead. But I think we just need to make sure we keep our heads on. The boys out there will be doing the right talk. You know, we've got some really good leaders out there. People will be staying calm. They'll use this opportunity now to come out the other side with more intensity.
In terms of first-up tackles, which obviously have to be better, can we talk about breakdown as well? Defensively, do you have to put more people in there to slow them down?
You know, we've got a policy that we try to stick to whenever we play. Obviously, they're getting quite quick ball from what they're doing because we're just losing the collisions. You know, the collisions are the most important thing. If you can get off the line and you can stop players, but at the moment they're falling our side of the ball, which means we've got no opportunity to steal, got no opportunity to fire. We're having to reset, and that's the kind of ball Australia want. They want to pin us back, so we've got no line speed, and then they're finding holes.
James, thank you very much.
No problem. Cheers, mate.
James Haskell talking to Graham there on the touchline. Host broadcaster having a look at what's been happening at the scrums.
An infinite amount as ever, and half the world doesn't know. But Nigel Owens was fairly lenient towards England there. It was a knock-on. He allowed it to go a fair few phases. The previous attack was very good. George Ford taking the ball to the gain line much more than we've seen so far, looking dangerous. Vunipola's missed a couple of tackles, but he's looked a real threat carrying on that straight line.
England get the penalty as the scrum collapses.
Well, one assumes they go for 3 points. It was Australia who have been profligate with a potential for penalties. England always take what's on offer. It's the pragmatist way. Farrell's way, Jones's way, Hartley's way.
Nigel Owens pointing out to the Australian front row how far their feet were back as a result of binding issues. And in Owen Farrell talked about Bernard Foley's 57% percentage going into this match in this series. Owen Farrell up at 88%. England have one of the most, if not the most reliable kicker in world rugby at the moment in this young man. 18 points last week, 24 in the first test, and straight through. England to double figures themselves now.
Excellent first 25 minutes. Anyone who thought 2-0, dead rubber, think again. This is a really fully committed test match. Australia hitting the contact, winning quick ball, asking questions. England doing some lovely stuff around the fringes off Young and Ford.
We spent time in both camps this week. It has not felt like a dead rubber week at all, has it?
No, when Eddie Jones starts the week by saying it's a quarters, semi-final, final, it's the World Cup, you know there's everything on it for England. And Australia, New Zealand's their next game. They have to get winning, and they see this as a big opportunity here in Sydney.
And it's a big opportunity here for Australia, holding on right in front. There goes the 3 points that England had just earned.
They're just claiming the collisions, though, aren't they? People like Hooper leading from the front. They're getting men there quickly. Joseph takes the ball. Hooper is a master of that. Just so quick to get there. And England are just a split second late at the moment.
And McMahon on his feet.
Yeah. But it comes from that bloke chasing. In the World Cup, if you remember, he was the arch chaser. As David Pocock watches on, Hooper's got the speed. He hunts his man down and he nails him almost unerringly. And he's in that sort of mood tonight.
The miss from wide. I think we can mark this one down, can't we? 15-10. Indeed we can. Bernard Foley, the man who tore England apart more than any other in the World Cup meeting at Twickenham. Michael Hooper along with Sean McMahon, the two who won that penalty for their kicker. Oh, Anthony Watson in the air with Skelton. Farrell. No advantage for England. Has been constant niggle between the teams in this series.
I felt there Skelton was committed to the ball. Big man going, look at it, his eyes on the ball all along. Watson goes down, but that's two blokes fully committed to it. I don't think the big man's even high on Anthony Watson there. Third kickoff that Watson has won, done brilliantly. And here's a little bit of niggle. Folau, and now at the moment Folau's on top.
Just the first one, thank you.
Both men had their eyes on their ball, both going for that. Both thought it was theirs to claim.
It's looking, Ben, listen to the conversation here as well, okay? It looks like to me, whilst he's making the additional jump in the air, that he's got his arm out, which could have got to the ball. But then when England get the ball, he just does enough to pull him down. He lands on his back. So I'm looking here at just a penalty, unless you tell me anything different, yeah?
Nigel, those are the best angles,
yeah.
and I agree with your description.
Okay.
It's clumsy, isn't it? I don't think there's any great intent there, but it's just awkward and clumsy.
I don't know if it's even clumsy, just Watson gets a split second before him, he's committed. I think a penalty's absolutely right.
When we're both up in the air, you've got your hand out, you could have got the ball. But what you have done, you've left your hand a bit too long and you've pulled him down. And I'm just going to penalise that and nothing more. But we need to be very careful in the air. Is that fair enough? Okay, with just a penalty against you, because it's not a deliberate pull down. He comes on catching that. No, while his hands was there, he could have got to the ball which he was up. That's my view, okay?
And England are going for the corner. And as England make their way to the line out, A big night of boxing this evening on Box Office. Anthony Joshua takes on the undefeated American Dominic Breazeale to the O2 Arena, and all the details are there. And don't forget this evening, Under-20 World Championship final, AJ Bell Stadium, Sky Sports 1, 6:30. What about the full England side? Jack Noel, Mike Brown. Good feet initially there from Brown. Rob Shaw, Joseph, Farrell, Watson. Not to set the series alight, Watson, like he has been doing so often, but here's Ben Youngs, might be about to do it here. Rob Shaw flicks it off to Ford, and Hartley could see the tackles coming, couldn't hold the ball. Phipps, it's counter-attack, and Tamur had a look. Phipps comes this way now.
Skelton is having an impact, isn't he? Boy.
Jack Noel. We reach the half-hour mark. Cruz, Watson. Now this might be his moment. He'll chip over the top. Mike Brown to take. Does. Mike Brown scrambles for the line. He's got there. Watson does come right into the series, and he congratulates Brown, the scorer. England are going to take some stopping tonight if they keep coming up with moments like that. It's 15-all. What a game.
Australia 3-on-2, very narrow, but this is a super kick from Watson. Haley does body check him, but the kick's a beauty. And Brown, it's all about tenacity. He's not had a great season, he's not had a great tour, but boy does he want this. That is a clear body check from Haley, but it doesn't matter because Brown has got his hands on that ball, and big and strong as Kurindrani is, he ain't going to stop the Harlequin.
The man who's played most minutes for England in 2016, Mike Brown. Anthony Watson, and that run of scoring, it's been quite incredible. That time he was creating for his fullback. And England have made a change. Courtney Laws is on and TEIMANA Harrison is off. Let's just concentrate on this Farrell kick, and Stewart couldn't give his view on that. For the lead then. That is the lead. Now then, that change.
Well, we need to know whether there's blood, but Eddie Jones, what he's done in this series before, you wonder, don't you? England were not powerful enough at the breakdown. Laws comes on. Itoje switches to the back row to 6 where he's practiced. Robshaw goes back to his old familiar position of 7. It's a possibility. We need to know if there's blood. Otherwise, it's a tactical shift.
Cole, who started the mayhem, he was the first try scorer. Two apiece now. That's Israel Folau. He got a couple himself against France. Last time Test was played here. Stephen Moore.
Dan Cole's been penalised for a late tackle.
There's Hooper, and there's the whistle for that. Dan Cole being called across.
Smack Bernard Foley.
Why, excuse me, no you don't. No you don't. Rocky Boss, you've got nothing to do with you. If I need you, I'll call you. No, he can't. I certainly won't be. It was quite obvious to me that the ball had gone, and quite obvious to you as well, okay? We need to start this discipline, please. Get your tackles and timings better. Back you go.
Dan Cole takes his medicine there.
Time out. Hang on, time out. Nick.
McMahon carrying again. It comes out of this ball. Skelton, he's hitting it hard. Now Foley, Cole, you just see him going there. The picture moves away, it shifts away from Cole's hit. We need a wider angle to see it. It is a fraction late, and it's also a couple of metres further back from where the kick is being taken, which is significant because Foley has no great distance.
We're hearing that the England substitution was a tactical change, and Nigel Owens had actually rolled it back. He's taking it forward now again.
But definitely that tackle is 2 or 3 metres backwards. Sorry, the late tackle, that should be, and it was. Loose from Dan Cole. And this is just about Foley's range. It's probably a metre short of where he kicked a dramatic penalty to win Super Rugby for the Waratahs a couple of years ago here at this stadium against the Crusaders.
And you're right, it could make all the difference. Now he's pulled it. He's straining it a little bit, although distance was pretty good. Direction wasn't. England stay in front by 2.
Yeah, the distance was good because the direction wasn't. As you're saying, that wasn't a natural swing there. He just put too much into it. But warning there for Dan Cole, whether he's nicked a metre or 2, it was a silly penalty conceded by England.
Yes, it feels like it's going to be really tight tonight. Those moments could matter. Michael Hooper again. Foley and Laws into the match. Back goes Simmons.
That's how you tackle a fly half.
Just confirming then that Courtney Laws has replaced his Northampton teammate TEIMANA Harrison as a tactical change. Another early call made by Eddie Jones in this series. Vardy looking for the offload. Joseph there again. Simmons almost looking for Robshaw to bang into. Skelton let Robshaw know as well on the floor that he was around. Billy Vunipola loses the ball. That's gone forward.
Well played from Itoje after his mate Billy Vunipola just loses control of that ball. Doesn't seem to be functioning at quite the intensity we saw. It's a clever kick. And the big man just loses control as more comes in. But before Hooper can get there, Itoje has enveloped it.
He's got some wingspan, hasn't he?
Oh, hasn't he just?
Itoje.
Now, of course, Courtney Law has been known to play blindside, but Itoje has been training in this position on tour, and he clearly is shifting onto the blindside flank. And Chris Robshaw, former England captain, as an open side, has gone back to that number 7 position. Up against Hooper.
Bind. Set.
Not through the conventional channel, but it's quick ball. And Tamua. Phipps. Vardy through the first man. Farrell gets back in position. Joseph was doing the clinging on. That's gone forward from Phipps.
Just about the first time England at a breakdown have been able to actually skag Nick Phipps.
Away we go. Let it go, Mike, please. Mike, let it go. It's got nothing to do with you. Get out.
And look what happens. As soon as that ball goes forward, there's a little bit of a ruckus. And I think England are far more comfortable with the sledging than Australia. Far more of a scrap over the ball. Itoje playing on the blind side, making a real nuisance of himself, and Phipps, hometown boy, furious.
Well, we're next to the Sydney Cricket Ground here, of course. This part of Sydney.
Let it there.
Nigel Owens just laying the law down. Sledging has been part of this series. Body line 2.
But that was a really significant breakdown, I think. England have been too passive. Australia have swept them off it 2 or 3 times. Now they've got a far more aggressive rucking pack. Maybe Harrison just slightly overawed by the occasion, slightly overpowered. England are bulked up in that back row now.
It's coming on again at the scrum. Three waves it on. Ford. Good kick by the England number 10. Talking about that lesson he had with Andrew Johns, which obviously fired up the local media here. Seeing a rugby league legend helping out the England team. It's bad enough having Glenella as part of the Eddie Jones staff, the 2 Aussies. But, I mean, Ford and Farrell were like kids on Christmas morning, weren't they?
Couldn't believe it. We were at Coogee Oval, and suddenly you're thinking, is that Andrew Johns there? Amazing. Farrell's looking very sharp as a result, passing, kicking, running. Ford even sharper.
Falau. Joseph putting in so many tackles in this first half. The Bath man, Courtney Laws and Billy Vunipola, and Billy Vunipola's got the ball. Less than 2 minutes to half-time. Could England snatch one here? They kept Australia out at this stage last week. Ford, good hands. Itoje. Good work by Tamua.
Cool, George Ford was clobbered there.
Mako Vunipola. Youngs to Farrell. Rob Shaw. Really aggressive, this Australian defence. Joseph, Watson. England trying to find a way. They've done it before, twice in this half. That's forward onto Rob Shaw, so this probably last chance for England in the first period comes to an end.
A relief for Australia there. England were putting together a lovely passage of play. Really nice passage of play. Joseph's inside ball was good between the two 15-metre channels. England are working some good stuff. Here's the combination of Laws and Vunipola straight away. The big men in tandem. That's exactly what Eddie Jones wanted when he made that substitution. Whether it's a master stroke like we saw in the first test with Luther Burrell remains to be seen. But once again, he's acted, and he's acted quickly. We go towards half-time. It's a superb test. Australia, stung early on, have bounced back. They've looked dangerous. England, struggling at the breakdown, not getting their tackles in, have shifted the way they're playing, and they look so much more powerful, as you just see Fardy flatten George Ford, but lovely hands.
It's one of those games when you keep looking at the scoreboard because you're actually not quite sure who's in front. Just to reassure yourself what is happening out there. It is end-to-end. It's been excellent fare.
Good test match. Good test match. I think we've probably seen the most ambitious attacking... No, not probably. It's the most ambitious attacking play we've seen from England, especially using the backs. It's a lovely night here in Sydney. They want some decent ball from set piece. Ford's very flat. Joseph's looking for inside lines. They're getting Rob Shaw and Vunipola picking good running lines. And Ben Youngs has just been bringing people into it. People like Mako Vunipola. As for Australia, once again, the threat out wide is huge. Falau and Hooper, so dangerous. And England have got to stop them winning quick ball.
I've never been hookers before, I'm not getting a word in.
You've got to love Nigel Owens. Never tire of his comments. Two hawkers as captains. And hard even for Nigel to get a word in.
There we go.
What England would give to just nick a penalty here. Give that man one last chance.
Straight in, okay. Crouch. Bind.
Phipps, Foley, Falau, Horn, Knowles missed another. That's Skelton, and that's the halfway line as Australia try and build something. The dying embers of this first half. Moore, nicely inside to Slipper. There's 248 caps in the Australian front row tonight. There goes the siren. So now we all know. Last play. Skelton, Toje is not tempted. Moore, Folau, seeing a lot more of the ball, Israel Folau, and Australia will like that. Slipper. Rob Shaw bumped out of the way. Here comes Skelton again. Phipps sucking England in now, looking to go for the width. McMahon can free himself. Here goes Haylett Petty. This is a big moment, this. Like it was last week when Australia were camped on the England line at the end of the first period. England had the ball, it went forward. They've got an advantage here now, Australia. Tamua, Noel needs to concentrate here because Folau is very, very good in those situations, but it will be a penalty against Toje.
The Saracen never made any attempt to get back there. Little bit loose, quite unusual. Shifted to the blind side. I just wonder, maybe a little bit of mental tiredness there. He made it very easy for Nigel Owens to pick that one out. Folau, he thought that was his moment. Watch, walking backwards there, Toje, no retreat, makes the tackle there offside. And here, you think, for all money, Folau is in again. But Jack Noel does quite spectacularly. He got beaten one-on-one, which led to the try, but he sort of atoned for it there.
Just about to say the same thing. He's missed some tackles in this first half, Jack Noel, and he won't like to see those again, but my goodness me, he did well there against, let's use this phrase again, because I think it's fairly safe to say, Folau, best in the world at that, going high. Spring in his step is remarkable.
18-17 to Australia. We have no idea who is going to win this test. What we do know is it's a cracking test match.
This then for the lead at the midway point of the final test of the series. Foley, and there it is. Australia 18, England 17. Thanks, Alex. Australia with the kick-off. As you've been talking about, as you've seen, Adam Coleman is on. Rob Simmons removed from the third test at half-time. The 6'8" lock from Tasmania. Israel Folau, who could probably leap all the way to Tasmania. We're hearing it's an injury to Simmons, who was injured in the first test as well. Kurandrani pick up, but it's Joseph again.
Tackles his way, doesn't he? Jonathan Joseph really does.
Vardy running into England's replacement, Courtney Laws. Skelton's carry, quickly back to Phipps, who has been all motion tonight. And emotion. Folau, lovely step, somehow he managed to hold on to the ball. Joseph knocked it back onto his leg. It's been called as a knock-on. And Kepu cleared it up. Skelton. Vantage over. Now, yeah. Slipper. Phipps. Foley, and Noel is covered and gets away from Hooper, which is pretty difficult. Nigel Owens is trying to run away as well. Ben Youngs, 4 deep. There's one of his Gary Owens. That, I think, hit the camera rail.
Yes, it was the cross kick bomb hit the camera rail, and England have ended up 6 metres from the try line with a wondrous kick from Ben Youngs.
You know what? What is the law on that? I'll be blatantly honest, I've got no idea. Is there a chance for it to be brought back for a scrum?
I have no idea.
Doesn't seem fair.
Life's not.
True.
Get lucky sometimes, you know, and you just got to take your break.
Okay, but because it came down and was still a 50-50 who got the first, nobody gained any advantage from it, and that's why you could play, let play continued. So that's why we're carrying on to where we are here. Okay, fair enough.
Stephen Moore nods, but perhaps inside he sees it
50 for anybody's ball, no
rather
advantage
differently.
gained from that.
Looks a pretty good advantage for England now.
Yeah, but Nigel Owens is right. I mean, it just fell any which way, and England were quicker there.
Oh, that has gone all the way through! And England
Held up.
had a
On the line,
magnificent
held
opportunity there.
White ball.
And the slumped shoulders of Ben Youngs, the scrum half, reveal exactly how they're thinking to take full advantage. Rob Shaw at the tail waiting. Thanks very much. But there were a posse of wallabies.
Time out, boys.
Coleman's all over the place. The lift's not right there. The delivery of Moore's not right. Western Force youngsters come on. It's his first line-out in Test match rugby, and it's almost chaos for Australia.
Accidentally, I hope.
The England just needed Billy Vunipola at the tail of that line-out. He would have been over.
So close for the former England captain there. It was still a difficult task because there were so many gold shirts around him. What a bonus that would have been for England right at the start of the second half, especially how it came about. Australia might have been thinking, everything's against us. I suppose looking back at the first half as Kepu gets treatment here, England's tight head Dan Cole scored that early try, and England never really had that time to let it sink in for Australia, what it meant, and for those doubts to set in.
No, even though if you look at the statistics, England had more territory and they had more possession, but Australia had better ball. Sometimes we look at just the sheer numbers in terms of territory and possession, and it's the quality that counts, and Australia have got a lot more quick ball today, and that's caused problems for England. But England now, even though the try doesn't score, they're 5 metres out. They are in a gilt-edged situation here. Great position.
The camera is above, but it's rather nervously hovering and staying a respectful distance away. We're not going to the shot. Here goes Billy Vunipola. He's going for the try line, and there's no doubt about that one. Vunipola powers off the back of the scrum, and that's what England wanted to bring right to the fore at the start of this second half. That power game, and Billy Vunipola is the man to do it.
Well, we said had he been at the tail of the line instead of Chris Robshaw, he would have scored. He's at the base of the scrum and he does score. Rock solid scrum from England. Rob Horne is a strong defender. Michael Hooper has to stay bound. He comes a fraction late. There's nothing he could do. Vunipola has not just power, but he's got acceleration. He's through Haylett-Petty. He's through Hooper, and that is a wonderful start for England. Did they get lucky? Yes. Have they capitalised? 100%. Well, 100% of this kick goes over.
And the English supporters can be heard now as Owen Farrell is going to miss his first one of the night. He does. He missed one in the second, missed one in the first, but he's got an awful lot of points in this series. And when he doesn't miss by much, does he? But England will still be reasonably happy with the situation at 22-18.
Farrell won't, though. I mean, that's for a kicker of his quality. And yes, he doesn't owe England anything, but that was a pretty poor miss.
Mike Brown took that from Hooper.
Ricocheted away from Hooper.
Vunipola again. Youngs. It's Danny Kerr, England's replacement. Scrum half. Wasn't taken back in, so England gained the ground.
A little bit of pressure on the Wallaby captain, Stephen Moore. He's got Coleman on at the front. First one went badly, led to the scrum, led to the English try. Normally, about 10 minutes from now, Pelota now comes on, and again England have nicked one, and this time it's Courtney Laws. Australian line out, under problems, under threat.
And England roll them all. And Billy Vunipola joins. And it's a penalty. And Farrell will get another chance.
It's another of those Melton Mowbray pork pie moments.
Where you came from. You came through the middle, but you cannot take it down. You came through the middle, but you cannot collapse it. It was still a maul.
Pure English rugby. And Eddie Jones, he used to moan about it at the early years of the 2000s and berate England. But doesn't he love it now when he's got a great big behemoth of a pack with people like Vunipola joining the way? Technique is great. Borthwick's got a driving line out, splendid. And Farrell has an almost immediate chance to atone for that miss. And you would expect him, quality of the kicker that he is, to send this one straight through the posts. It's almost the spot Foley was, isn't it? Almost the spot.
Foley pulled it to the left. Couldn't get the accuracy and the distance working together, but this man can. Superb again from Owen Farrell. And they will never tire of seeing it, those supporters.
Useful lead, 7 points. Very good start to the half for England. They took their break brilliantly. They've maximised it. 8 very quick points.
Foley's restart. Etoje, I was going to say making himself look big, he just is big. You know what I mean? Just covered all angles there.
You know, he's 30 kilograms lighter than Skelton. It's astonishing, isn't it?
He's all arms and legs, Etoje, but there's plenty of meat on the arms and legs.
Oh, he's a tremendous athlete. Nice play from Ben Youngs again. Nothing too flash. England want to get out of their 22, get to the halfway line. Courtney Laws, he's come on, he's been a nuisance around the pitch, he's nicked a line out, he's having massive impact.
When in Sydney 6 years ago, Courtney Laws, along with Ben Youngs, Dan Cole and Danny Kerr, who's on England's bench. They're the survivors. Hooper, Foley and Folau, rangy stride, Tamua, big space! Tamua needs no second invitation to go through a gap like that, and nor does this man! Coleman threw the ball back inside, didn't really need to panic, he had ripped England apart there.
Well, he came from so deep there, John Coleman. Big galloping stride there. Little bit of a panic there. Adam Coleman, you thought he was in. I think he thought he was in as he goes through the gap. Youngs does well. Perhaps he should have held on to that. As it is, Australia have got themselves a gilt-edged position straight through Courtney Laws. The depth and timing of that run, consummate.
Adam Coleman, nearly 90 years since The only other Wallabies from Tasmania, over the country. Jack and Eric Ford, brothers, all those years ago. Coleman, what a dramatic start that would have been to his international career. Either way, it's still created a terrific opportunity here. Danger far from over. Phipps, Foley. That was Kurandrani. Hooper leaves it for the halfback, McMahon. Australia's 8 looking to punch holes a la Vunapola. That's Skelton. Ball's back quickly again to Phipps. This will make England work really hard. Capu hands to fellow prop slipper. Australia look like they're coming back here. There's Hooper. And Hooper's turn to touch the line.
Well, that looked in the live moment quite brilliant there from Hooper. Nigel Owens will check.
Ben, any reason why you can't do all the try, please? There's no double movement for me. It looks good. Just let me know, okay?
Checking footage for any reason.
Yeah, any reason, yeah, please.
We are a long, long way back here in the stand and from that incident, but didn't look like any reason even from here.
It's a big tackle from Cole, but look at the awareness from Hooper. He rides it. I'd like
we
to
just
see
found
that.
a reason.
Well, I'd like to just see that again. He's got to hit the whitewash. He's going to reach out now for the line.
And anything from up above, please?
It's another one of those subjective calls. I think there he scored.
Thank you, I have a decision.
Yes, he has.
Nigel,
Yeah.
you may award the try.
Thank you.
There was no reason in the end. Hooper scores again in this series, 2 in the first test he got. What a final half hour in store.
What an outstanding attacking force Michael Hooper is. Packed with power, awareness, running lines, quite brilliant running forward.
And there was more than just a small whiff of inevitability about that. There was from an England point of view, a stench in the air that a try was coming.
Probably the last man England wanted to see that close to the try line. Cold, manful, but he just couldn't hit him with enough force.
3 tries each. Here's Foley to level it at 25 all. That's exactly what we've got.
It's seesawing along very superbly here in Sydney, isn't it? If you're a neutral, it's a thriller. If you're English or Australian, time to start biting your nose. This is close.
Nigel Owens just warning George Ford there about stepping too far into the opposition half, which he has been doing on restarts. Came off the head of Fardy, England line-out ball.
It's another very good kick. Whether Ford has been a metre over the line or not, he has been dropping those restarts on a sixpence, either to Anthony Watson or 15 metres further and giving the forwards a chance to press. Really good play.
Toje unchallenged, but he needs to get it back, and Fardy's all over him. And Australia commit.
Maul was formed, everybody was onside, scrum down, turnover ball.
And they did it.
It's a great moment there for Scott Fardy. He's done brilliantly. Waited for Toje to take that ball when he had a sniff of it. He attacked and made a right mess of England's attacking position.
If they're in late, don't worry about the numbers.
So much riding on this for Australia and how they head into the Rugby Championship and the pressures that would inevitably come should they lose a series 3-0. Come out of this with a bit of self-respect, or whatever you want to call it, in a series that you've lost, where you grab something at the end and they'll feel a whole lot different.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. I mean, it's 6 weeks, isn't it, till the championship starts, which is plenty of time for Australian fans, frustrated to forget, but it's also time to worry about the next opponents, New Zealand. England have messed up the Aussie scrum now.
In this tit-for-tat match, there's another example of that.
I can't help but think Michael was right at half-time talking about Phipps disappearing from the field as England's scrum half is going, but Phipps is having a very hard time in the game, and I think Frisbee would be a very positive change for Australia.
England going Harlequins here. Nick Easter watching in our studio, and he will see Danny Kerr and Jack Clifford come on. Colleague from Fox Sports, Greg Clark, was telling me if we got to that figure it would be a record here. So there we are.
Although we lose a Harlequin as well, of course, with Chris Robshaw departed from the field of play. Talked about Haskell and what a sensational series he's had. Robshaw has been splendid for England, but with 27 minutes to go, England now want to go for the jugular. They want impact, they want pace. Clifford gives a little bit extra.
Pressure on the Australian scrum here. England want to keep it in, and they get the penalty.
Not driving square, running round. Not driving square, back 5.
James Slipper looks
Back
very
5, not driving square.
disenchanted with that call. And Owen Farrell
Not the front
looks
row,
at the
back
post.
5, running round, not driving. Jack! Owen, what's your language, please?
Well, Nigel Owens offering the apology there. Owen Farrell, if you heard that on the referee's microphone, we'll offer our apologies as well.
Aussie back 5, not staying square. Mario Ledesma, the Australian forward coach, you haven't seen too many Argentinian scrums operate like that, going backwards, running round. The beefy men like to stay straight, don't they?
And forwards love to keep that ball in the scrum if they feel the penalty is coming, and Nigel Owens held it, but it was only at the end that Australia tried to save themselves in a rather desperate way at that scrum. Now can Owen Farrell take full advantage, and England and their nose in front again. Oh yes.
Now, what are the cards the two coaches are left holding? Can the impact off the bench be the difference? England now have thrown pretty quickly. Last week, if you remember, they went to about 71 minutes with just the one substitution. Eddie Jones making moves faster this time.
Folau almost in front, if not in front of the kicker there.
That's taken a half by Itoje, but stolen.
Very good at coming back, Australia, in this match. Phipps, Tamua. Done a lot of the simple things tonight, Tamua. And done them well. Foley's looked better for it. Phipps, Kurandrani. Cries from the home crowd that England had encroached offside there. Hooper. Mako Vunipola, George Cruz goes in. Did his best, but he was seen off on that occasion. Tamua. There he goes again, off to Folau. Well, that, to be fair to Tamua, was a little bit more than simple. And Israel Folau with that familiar celebration. And that's when Australia can make this game look ridiculously easy.
Finished in Sydney, made in Canberra. Tamua has played well today, and he's just bust through England's defence. They'll be frustrated. Little dummy in the show. A handoff there, and then that man Israel Folau is so quick. His tracking is brilliant. Billy Vunipola, not the first tackle he's missed. Brown comes in for the tackle. Hartley versus Folau. There's only one winner there. Another missed tackle. Dummy inside ball. Clifford's tackle, or his attempt to tackle, is too late. It's Billy Vunipola that makes the miss that counts. And Australia now regain the lead yet again.
All right, at the start of the game, England took a 7-0 lead, and very quickly it was 12-7. And England took a 7-point lead in this second half, and very quickly Australia have responded with 12 points. Can Foley make it a little bit more? Yes, he can.
I think Australia have played their hand a little bit now. Looks like fresh legs on, loose and tight head. Slipper and Capu seem to be making their way off. Seo and Holmes entering the fray.
See Wycliffe Parlow out there. He returns to international rugby. 3 World Cups he's been in. His test debut off the bench against England back in 2006 in Melbourne, when Australia crushed that England side. Well, at the end of a long, hard season, if England win it from here, what an achievement that will be. Can't take the series win away from them, nor the Cook Cup. They'll return home with that. But they said before the tour they were looking for 3-0. Kerr. Cole. How did that get there?
Yeah, on the floor. You're on the floor.
Illegally.
And Stephen, away quicker, please.
Vardy plays it on the floor, hands England an immediate opportunity to regain 3 points. With 20 minutes to go, I don't think Dylan Hartley will be panicking.
I haven't got any. What are you doing, Owen? Sorry. I haven't got any issues in the scrum. Away quicker as well, please, okay? You're blocking the clear out here, Stephen.
Good carry from Cole. Vardy on the floor. Left boot, kicks it out. Of course, you can kick through, but not if you're lying down.
Okay.
Nigel Owen sees that, and it should be 3 points. This is one hell of a yo-yo of an international, isn't it?
You know, I said earlier, had to keep looking at the scoreboard. It's not gone away, has it, that feeling? And Farrell's ability to kick those goals won't go away. Right the way through his career. Great nerve, great technique, 1 point in it.
Launchbury on for George Cruz as England get more and more mobile in their back 5 now. Laws, Launchbury, Vunipola, Clifford and Itoje. It's a hell of a back 5.
Mike Brown was searching for the left boot, but he didn't get the time, because once again Australia fired up to try and salvage something from the wreckage of this series, but maybe that time just too fired up. Don't roll away, don't keep their heads.
Again, it was a wonderful chase from Hooper.
Before there, he prevented the ball
Checker
coming back.
absolutely livid. They had England pinned in the corner.
But not now, as Owen Farrell finds his touch, and we will get the views of James Haskell again. He's with Graham.
James, what gets England over the line right now?
I just think we need to keep playing the right areas. Obviously, you know, we're conceding some line breaks, but I think we're going into their half. They're giving us some penalty opportunities. So if we can keep putting pressure on there, then we start getting some set-piece game, and hopefully that gets over the line.
Are you itching right now to be out there?
Yeah, I'm a terrible watcher, but obviously that's when I'm in a moon boot, that's all I can do. But we're trying to cheer the boys on as much as we can. I think you know, we'll pick up now. I think our fitness, the way we train, should hopefully tell in this last period.
All right, James, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
England kick it away with Ford going downfield. Haylett Petty, now it's England's turn to chase hard on the kick. Billy Vunipola and Owen Farrell. That turnover ball, it is.
Phipps was looking the other way. Hit his
goes left, and there's a lot of white shirts there. Ford, one of them. Farrell onto Watson. Watson. No, cover was good from Australia.
Well, that was very loose from the Wallabies. Again, Nick Phipps just a little bit slow. The ball came out. It wasn't controlled ball, but he wasn't looking, and suddenly it was an English turnover. Phipps is there, making sure nothing else happens, along with his half-back mate, Foley. Desperate measures.
To throw in to Tafu Pallotta now. It's got CO on as well, as you can see. Pallotta now actually breaks Jeremy Paul's record for most appearances off the bench now for a Wallaby. This the 39th time he's come off the bench to win a cap.
Hartley's gone as well, 63 minutes. The very excited Jamie George on. Captain's gone from both teams now.
England still with their starting props. Fardy, brilliant exponent the line out here's become. On own ball, on opposition ball. McMahon. If you want to know how much this means to Australia, there it was from McMahon. Billy Vunipola, supported by Laws. He does release. And there's Ford and Farrell and Brown. So close, impossible to tell if it was forward. Launch spring into the gap. In comes Cole. Chip from Ford, meant for Noel. Good rugby from England.
Patient rugby from England as well. George Ford's very good in this situation. He keeps us calm and applies the pressure. They know they've always got Farrell's boot if there's a penalty, and they know if they can stay in the Australian 22, they have the potential. Vunipola took a whack there. Decided to just settle for a minute or two at fullback. Auxiliary wing, maybe.
Pallotta now. It's good again, finding Coleman this time. There goes McMahon. Farrell stops him with his shoulder. No great attempt to use the arms there. Foley to Noel. And you don't want to score from this and then have to go back for potential foul play.
Clever little line from Jack Clifford there. Blocking line.
Folau, Brown. Brown's got it! Farrell went through, but all he did was take the attention of the Australian defence, and Brown was running off towards the corner. Here's Launchbury. Kerr. Ford going really wide. Jack Noel puts the foot down, turns back inside. The man who scored right at the end of the first test. England look for another here with this one in the balance.
They're playing a penalty.
Kerr, George off his boot, falls on it, and Jamie George has scored. He chipped through last week to help create English rugby history. Well, he's scored this week to add to the story, maybe.
The man with a golden boot, Jamie George, as you say, created one for Owen Farrell. Is he lucky, or is he a consummate footballer? Australia messing around. What is Phipps doing there? Just kill that ball. England are on the attack. Australia are all over the place here. Now Kerr squirts us along the ground. It's definitely off the legs. There's no knock on from Ford. No, it's an Australian. Off the left, maybe the right as well. And the Saracen is over. What a substitution from Eddie Jones. He's been on less than 1 minute and he has scored a try.
You see him around the camp, he's always smiling, Jamie George. He's smiling now, and so too Owen Farrell, his Saracens teammate. It's 4 tries apiece. Farrell converts. And what on earth is the score? Let's check. England 38, Australia 32.
It's not such a good day for Paul Gustard at the moment. I don't think Paul will worry if England will win this. From the Australian perspective, Michael Cheika will take this anyway, anyhow. England 6 points up again.
First test, the record score against Australia was recorded. Second test, biggest winning margin in Australia. And they're almost up to 39 points again in that record total, but it'll only mean something for England if it's a win today. Clifford. Kerr. Poor Hill on now. Take from Foley. Off Coleman, and that's a little bit panicky from Australia. Still got plenty of time here. I'm sure they will realise that and settle again. Tamur off, Lealiafano on.
Well, I must say, Australia are not helping themselves at the moment, trying to force the game. That try came from Phipps, just flipping a ball backwards when Folau couldn't have expected it. England are being given ball at just the time when they need it.
Yeah, Hooper throwing it inside. Tangeri Naiyaravoro on for Rob Horne.
It's what happens, Miles, when you've won the first 2 games. You get under the skin of the opposition. Australia are the team in a panic now.
And a penalty here. It's wide, but it's Farrell. And Ford goes for the long drop goal just in case. Just in case he got, well, not lucky because he's tremendously skillful at it, but he was rolling the dice there.
Needlessly. Be very careful what's happening now from here on, please, okay? Keep it up.
Scott Seo warned.
Good tactics as well from England. They're 6 points up. They're thinking we've got a good driving line out. OK, it's not 5 metres out for the try, but let's try and eke out a penalty. Let's take the pace out of Australia. Boy, is that man struggling. He has played monumentally on this tour, outstandingly for England in the Six Nations, but he does not want to leave. Can he leave?
England need him to stay on. Laws, Launchbury already on. Clifford too.
I don't see Elliot Daly coming on.
You need a slightly discipline now. Is that fair enough? Thank you.
Michael Hooper, who takes over the captaincy when Stephen Moore goes off.
Saying there, the only substitute England have got left now, is it Elliot Daly for Billy Vunipola? Doesn't fit. Massive kick now for Owen Farrell. This goes over, very wide, long way out, but England are 9 points ahead. They have a little bit of breathing space, a little.
As Matt Mullen hasn't been used as the replacement loose head prop, but England nearly there, the cupboard almost bare. It comes to forwards, especially back 5 in the scrum, not the front row. Mullen, of course, specialist prop, although he can shift if he has to do a job. He's certainly taking his opportunity on this tour with no Joe Marler. Massive kick. It will give England their record score against Australia, home or away.
And even more importantly, 9 points.
And a chance to win a series in Australia 3-0, having won their first series ever on this trip. Owen Farrell, over to you.
What a kick.
What a kick indeed. thumbs up all round for Farrell and for England. Now, 10 minutes to go, it's 2 scores out, and the pressure really heaps on the home side now.
James Haskell, talking to Graham, said England's fitness might see them home, where the bench has come off and made a great impact. England looking sharp, but what a chase.
There's that Australian reply again. McMahon, down goes Hill. He's trying to feed it back, but maybe just held on a little bit too much there, the young prop, and there could be one of the scores.
Well, it's a great kick from Australia. The chase is exceptional. What do? I think 3 points is the answer with 10 minutes to go. Last week, Australia was spurred in these chances. Now, with 9 minutes to go, they're doing anything but. McMahon and Hooper, awesome in the chase there. Michael Checker, he wants yellow, but he's got a penalty and he's got 3 points.
And he got what he wanted there. And the desk can relax for now.
I was going to say.
Foley almost in front, wouldn't miss this in training on any day, and he doesn't miss in the match either. So again, Australia, when the questions are being asked, get the score straight away, almost as they started the match after that early Dan Cole try.
Well, both teams, when they analyse this game and you go away from the drama of playing for the win, will look at the number of soft penalties they've conceded and the way they haven't been able to hold on to scores. Both teams have done really well on restarts.
Anthony Watson on Haylett Petty. Lealiafano. Mike Brown calls for it. Can't get away from Hooper that time. So good here, Australia. And they've turned it over. Nayaravoro is calling for it. He's had 1 touch in international rugby and he scored. It's his only touch thus far. There he is, the former Glasgow man, wearing 23. Giant of a winger. Getting on for 19 stone, 6'5". I don't think he's touched it yet in this match. Touch came against the United States pre-World Cup.
Bad decision, Mike Brown there. He took on the quickest man Australia have got in their pack, and you just don't get away from Michael Hooper. Skagged the England full-back, and it's a turnover time, and Australia will be disappointed that they gave England a chance to throw the line out and then control possession again.
That's nice between George and Itoje. Saracens combination again. Danny Kerr. Izzy Folau. Haylett Petty caught in possession by Owen Farrell. Fardy. Phipps to Foley, Lealiafano. Well, there is the touch for Nayaravoro. Still too close for comfort for England, this. The way Australia have attacked and scored their tries tonight. Noel.
That kick.
Haylett Petty with time. Mike Brown. Not as much time as he would have thought initially, but he stayed composed and got it almost up to halfway, the England full-back. Just over 5 minutes on the clock.
There's not a person in this stadium, 45,500 fans, who's thinking It doesn't matter, England have already won the series. Breaths are being held. The length and breadth of this stadium. This is a bona fide test match.
Not sure there is such a thing as a dead rubber in this sport, and we're seeing it in all its glory this evening. Mako Vunipola again has been so much part of the performance, and so too his brother Billy, who is forced to leave. So England's resources now being stretched as they try and hold out from Falau onto Naiyaravoro. Noel just put him off his stride a little bit, but he made big ground there, the big man. Australia, well, we know it's all coming England's way now. Everything will be thrown at this English team. Danny Kerr nearly nipping in there, and if he gets a boot on that, he's so quick, Kerr, he could have gone. But it's with McMahon. Mako Vunipola's still out there. It's Elliot Daly who's come on for Vunipola. There he is, 23, back for forward. England have it. Jamie George in there. Kerr says go on, after that to Mike Brown and Jack Knoll. Haylett Petty's not got much choice, but he strikes it pretty well. Yet it will be England ball. Another minute gone.
Well done, Jamie George, as well. Reactions very quick to fall on that ball, and England are taking their time. Quick reactions to get to the floor. As we look at Elliot Daly there, but look at England. They take Nigel Owens. Really, you feel the clock should be stopped here. The Australian fans are booing, and it's understandable. England taking their time, that too is understandable.
Everybody does it. But you're right, the clock should be stopped in those moments. Itoje wins. England plays safe at the front of the line out. They're going looking for another penalty here, maybe. This is pulled down.
Super smart rugby.
Kerr told to play it by the referee. Noel just going to barge in there and give everything. The England winger again. Launch spree. Kerry from the Wasp man. Kerr. One more score and it's 3-0.
Daniels, please.
Itoje and Kerr. Australia desperate to somehow engineer a turnover here. Launchbury, Coleman in the way, but moves away. Kerr.
Both of you gone in low, both in low, play on, both in low.
And again the scrum half, Laws.
Reload, away go!
Worked so hard for this England throughout 2016, and what a reward it would be. Brown. All narrow, all tight. Clifford takes 2 or 3 meters there. This is good control. George doesn't want to get isolated. Hooper's in there. Referee's looking. In goes Itoje. It's going to be the turnover, I think. No, it's not. It's going to be the penalty. Nigel Owens steps in. And that might just do it. Michael Checker can't believe it.
You can't come through and take the 9 out. You come through and play the ball, no problem. You came through and took the 9 without the ball.
Well, it's explained by the referee.
Initially, it's brilliant from Hooper.
You come and take the ball, not the 9 without
He's playing the ball. Danny Kerr standing up. There it goes. That's Nick Phipps, first of all. Well, it's Phipps who's done, isn't it? Hooper stunned. He did his part brilliantly. And I must say, you have to feel for that man in defeat. He's been spectacular. England, what can you say about this tour of Australia? The Grand Slam was a great achievement after the horrors of the World Cup, but 3-0 in Australia against the World Cup finalists against the world's number 2 team. This kick goes over and it will be 3-0. It takes England to uncharted territories. This will be the finest record any English team has put together since they won the World Cup in 2003 here in Sydney.
Owen Farrell for 3-0. How about that? How about that? Farrell again. There's no way back for Australia. In the series we knew about that. But in the third test, this classic third test here in Sydney tonight, England have done it again. And Owen Farrell, 23 from 26 kicks in the series. Magnificent is not a strong enough word for England's kicker, for England's squad.
That man too, Mako Vunipola, he has been monumental. A slap in the English front row. The crowd are leaving in their droves. There's 20 seconds to go. Australia, it doesn't matter what happens now, they are beaten 3-0. England have achieved something quite extraordinary.
Owen Farrell got 24 points in the first test. He's done it again. He's done it again.
The boys have been on before you, have been excellent. I expect the same from you in this last round.
But he'd be first to say and thank his colleagues for putting himself in that position. It has been a total team effort and a great triumph for this England squad. It is right up there, as you say. There are a few moments in English rugby history on foreign soil that have felt like this. 24 points again. This eclipses the effort in 2007 when England got to the World Cup final. They did brilliantly in the quarter-final when they beat Australia in Marseille. They beat France in the semi, but to come to Australia and do it once, twice, 3 times is exceptional. 13 years of coming south and nothing of any real note along the way, apart from some real hidings. Australia defiant, but England have their series and they have a record score against the Wallabies again. For the second time they've broken that in this 3-match series. Figures that really stack up and tell the story. In goes another tackle. And English rugby fans, English sports fans, will luxuriate in this. His final moments in Australia. There's Foley. And you've got to admire the defiance. You really have. Phipps digs it out, and Naiyaravoro gets his try. Wasn't his first touch, will be the last of the match in open play. And Australia do get to write the final line, but for them, the story has not been the one they wanted to be told.
The former Glasgow winger is so strong. That's a good pass from Phipps. He's had a disappointing series, but that's a strong finish. I just wonder, have England ever conceded 40 points in a test match and won? I suspect the answer is no, and that tells you just how important it is that England picked up their game from last week. We said the defence was utterly one-off in its heroism, but it wouldn't be enough week after week after week. They've leaked 40 points today, but they were scored 4 tries. Farrell has kicked the goals, but without those tries, for all the accuracy of Farrell, England have gone down easily. They've found a way to score today. They've found a way to cement themselves as the world's second best team.
And for Australia, this will hurt for a long, long time. England's bench and support staff wait on halfway in a huddle, the team in a huddle, waiting to celebrate, regardless of what happens with this kick for Bernard Foley. He'll go through his professional routine, and he will miss, and there it is.